Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, I am taking your suggestion. We're going to end this year off with a bang. And I just wanted to do something special. You guys had been so nice. You guys requested that I go over and just like that, the Writer's Room podcast. So I just thought as an extra bonus, let's give it a listen. We'll pause. We'll talk about our thoughts along the way. You know, I'm going to have a lot of thoughts about it. And we'll go from there. So this features Michael Patrick King. It's a writer's room. It has all the writers from this season in there. I'm going to flash their names on the screen because a lot of them are hard to pronounce and I know I'll butcher them. So here's the writers that it's featuring. And they want to let us know the thought process behind each episode. So let's get into it. I figured I'll listen, I'll pause, we'll talk about it. I explained this in another video, but in case you're not familiar how it works, if you want to hear the podcast uninterrupted, again, it's called And Just Like That, the Writer's Room. But on my channel, because it's my reaction to it, I'm going to be pausing a lot. I'm going to be talking about it. It's like I have a conversation with you, my friend, in my room, and we're talking shit about it, right? That's kind of how it rolls. So if you don't like all the interruptions, I suggest you go find the original version. Otherwise, let's get into this. Let's hear what they have to say for themselves, because I don't know what possible excuse they can come up with. And I'm sure it's a lot of kissing their own asses. Like this first episode is an hour long. I don't know if I have it in me. Let's just see how far we make it and what we learn about this train wreck. Also, you guys have been so incredible on the comments. I read every single one. Even if I don't respond, I am reading them. And I thank you sincerely for them. You have made my year so special, even though 2021 sucks. I really appreciate all of you. I truly love you. I love talking to you. I love getting to know you. I love hearing your stories involving these ladies and how you relate to Sex and the City and what it means to you and how you discovered it, all of it. So just know that your comments mean everything to me. They really do. Thank you. Also, I hear you. So many people said that they were on board for Patreon. Thank you for that. So I've got to get this cold gone. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, this is not how I normally sound. I have a terrible cold. But once I get this cold kicked, I'd say in the next 2 weeks, I will look at starting mine back up. I had one before. I'll dust it off and bring it back. And we'll dive into the original series. I had so many people say that that's something they're interested in. I promise to keep it cheap. I'm not trying to make money off you guys. I'll just invest it back into like my sound system and whatever we need to keep this thing going, okay? So thank you guys for all the love and support. I really appreciate it. When that comes out, you better believe I'll be announcing it. We'll talk about it. I want your input. We'll go from there. But in the meantime, let's hear what the writers have to say for themselves. So the first episode is a combo episode because we're just that lucky. Sounds like they're combining the first episode, Hello, It's Me, and the second episode, Little Black Dress. And they say it's with Samantha Irby, so that's one of the writers for the show. Let's see how they could possibly justify what they've tortured us with in this series.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, I'm already interrupting. This jazzy beginning is very reminiscent of the original Sex and the City that is totally missing on And Just Like That. A lot of you guys pointed that out, and now I definitely notice its lack of interesting transitions, I guess, between scenes and the background music, all of that. It's the fun and lightness is missing.
This is And Just Like That, the Writer's Room. Okay, guys, it's 11 years later, and we're back.
Oh, but you're not, though, and that's why we're so bummed out.
Carrie, Miranda, and Charlotte aren't the only trio reuniting. I'm Michael Patrick King, writer and director of And Just Like That. And I'm sitting here with two people who worked with me on the new show, as well as the original, iconic Sex and the City series, executive producers and writers Julie Rottenberg.
Hi, I'm Julie.
And executive producer and writer Elisa Zaritsky.
Hi, I'm Elisa.
So Julie's on the left and Elisa is on the right. So it made me start looking into it, and I couldn't find ages, and I normally wouldn't look that up, but I am very curious because, again, we're dealing with women in their 50s and being treated like they're 90, like we keep saying, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm just going to, like, these women, I assume, are in their, I don't know, late 40s, 50s, somewhere in there, I'm not real sure, but they've been producing for a long time. So I'm asking again, like, how in the world are they not noticing what a train wreck they've made out of all this?
Okay, Julie, Elisa, both of you joined Sex and the City as story editors in the year 2000, very glamorous, 2000, and went on to produce and write many episodes with me and for us.
And here's Michael Patrick King, the one speaking. He's writer-producer of Sex and the City, and he's 69 years old. So again, how are these people writing or letting this pass by them that these women in their mid-50s are now ancient?
But you brought very different perspectives into the room. Julie is someone who has no qualms about giving you an opinion. Most memorably at this moment, I don't like Aiden.
Well, then, Julie, I don't like you. No, I'm actually kidding. I'm not that diehard of an Aiden fan. I liked him fine. I was always Team Big. Don't judge me for that. I just was. But I still found him attractive, and I love Northern Exposure. So that's a great show. He was great on that. I always had a thing for him there.
Day one.
I might have said that on my first day.
And Elisa is someone who, among many of her other traits, knows her way around a good joke.
And where is the humor in the new series? Oh, I forgot. This is supposed to be our comedic voice.
The fourth writer today is the brilliant comic, New York Times bestselling memoir writer Samantha Irby. She's a comedian, a writer, hugely important part of creating the new stories for this season.
This is Samantha Irby. She's 41.
I'm like a ghost.
I think we've met her. We just haven't been in her physical presence.
Yeah.
But we were 6 people meeting virtually for the first time, talking about this stuff.
Which might honestly be one of the reasons this feels so disjointed.
The interesting thing about a Zoom writing room, which is different than a normal writing room, everybody's in extreme close-up. So as the showrunner, I could see when people weren't saying something. And I would fucking zoom in on Samantha and go, Samantha, what? She goes, I fucking hate this storyline.
So you're telling me there are worse ideas floating around out there than what they've given us?
She's got a big heart, a big emotional life, a big attachment to things.
I do.
Good and bad.
Good and bad.
What's great about that is in the writing room, if it tended to go a little sweet, Samantha would just call bullshit on it.
Yeah.
And I remember my favorite day of all time, in And Just Like That with Samantha was I was pitching something about Miranda being insecure talking to somebody.
Oh, I know what it was.
Oh my gosh. They're acting like we could have forgotten about this horrible cringy scene they're talking about.
I mean, I know that's kind of played out. Like everybody's like, "Oh, I'm a Charlotte," but like I literally am a Miranda.
I don't know how anybody could legitimately say that after watching these episodes. You'd think if she thought of herself as a Miranda, she would look out for the character more when writing.
The thought that my queen Miranda would be like, "Oh, my best friend, you took her away from me. I love you," was like hurt me deep in my heart. And so I kept doing that imitation of Miranda for like 2 hours.
Okay, so I did some digging on Samantha Irby. Samantha Irby is a gay woman of color, which makes it even more crazy to me that she is particularly fond of Miranda, and Miranda has had a lobotomy and cannot speak to gay women of color. And I'm not just blaming her. I'm just saying, like, in the writer's room, they had representation. I don't understand why. It just makes it make less sense to me. And it just points further to my theory that they are just trying to teach us all a lesson, that we're the idiots here, you know, the ones that have stuck with them from the beginning, but we're the idiots that need to be taught a lesson.
Especially because it made Michael laugh, and there's like no joy in my life like bigger than making Michael Patrick King laugh.
Okay, this is kind of what I thought it would be, just an ass-kissing-a-thon. I mean, they're all kissing each other's asses. Like, aren't we wonderful? Let's all make Michael Patrick King laugh.
Well, the thing that made me laugh so much, it was like hitting a shark on the face, you know, like to make it stop.
Yeah.
She just came at me with, this is what you're putting into the world. Me.
I can't. All this smug, self-congratulatory stuff, it's too much.
I'm a grown woman. And it became to represent anything that was too precious for us. But we push back. Nobody wins in the room. There's always a pushback.
No, that's true.
No, you know who's not winning? It's the people that have stuck with the show from the beginning. The true fans of the show. We're the ones not winning.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the origin story of the actual moment of me calling you each and saying, I want to do this again. I mean, because the first thing I've heard from the beginning and the very minimal press that I've done about this is, why would you risk it?
I'll give you a hint why.
Why would you destroy the series?
That's exactly what you've done. Destroyed the series. Thanks a lot, you jackasses.
Of history.
Wow.
So, the first thing I said is I thought we had a good story.
Okay, riddle me this, Batman. What is the story? Think about it. We're 5 episodes in. What story is he talking about? Yes, things have happened individually to the characters, but what overall story is he talking about? Because I'm not sure that there is one.
This idea of coming back, we thought we were dreaming. We were like, is he kidding? Is this real? It felt insane. How could this be happening?
And yet in an interview that Cynthia Nixon gave, she alluded to the multiple conversations she had with Michael Patrick King and different ones about how she won't come back and do it unless it's written the correct way, aka forced woke.
Terror. I was definitely afraid, but mostly I was giddy. I was thrilled.
That's how we all felt. We were all giddy and excited, and then you guys crushed it.
And it felt like a chance to have an outlet for all these stories that we have been experiencing since we closed that chapter 20 years ago.
The original Sex and the City, to me, felt more relatable, not in terms of wealth, but in terms of friendships and things like that. This show, and just like that, is not at all relatable, I don't find.
I think the power of the show and the reason it's resonated for so many years for so many people is that something about the chemistry of the scripts and the actresses and the direction and everything about it.
It just was so much more light and fun, and they weren't preaching to us. Again, I go back to relatable. It was more relatable back then. I don't know what we have now.
Made those ladies more real to people than most television characters.
So this is my aha moment. That's exactly what it is for me too. They were relatable back in the day, but so we all grew to know them, to love them, to whatever them. I know it's a TV show, but you know what I'm talking about. And just like that, they've completely wrecked all these things they've built up over the years. They've changed people's personalities completely. They've made them wholly unlikable, and that's why I think a lot of us are grieving.
Imagining who they would be, where they would be, what their kids would be up to now. It was just the most exciting experiment.
So again, she's saying these things, but then look what we actually got. Are any of them leading happy lives that we've seen so far? No, they're not.
It was an experiment.
Yeah.
And I think that the interesting thing is you said put them out of the box. I always imagined that they're still walking around.
Yeah.
They're in my mind, they're walking around.
Yeah.
And my softest pitch when I went to HBO Max, the easiest, softest pitch about what I wanted the audience to feel.
If you're going to say terrible about themselves, you nailed it.
Was like, they're real, I'm a fan, and it would be like this. Hey, I saw Carrie Bradshaw on the street the other day. And your friend would say, how'd she look? And you go, fabulous. And that's the thing.
But again, are we watching the same show? They don't have her looking fabulous.
Plot and character, it all just started immediately when we
had the
met
shared
on the
experience,
Zoom.
which was the show. And we did a big, wide search for these new writers because we knew we were bringing in new characters. We wanted those characters to be reflected in the writing room. But we also needed...
Again, the things they're saying here do not match what we're getting on our screens. We've all said that they're using the people of color on the show as props, and it's not right. It's terrible how they've done this. And So it makes it even stranger to me based on what Michael Patrick King just said.
Geniuses. And so Samantha is a comic writer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, did she write the stand-up for Che? Tell me she did. But seriously though, tell me a funny moment we've seen with any of the characters so far. I'll wait.
Of books. She's Carrie Bradshaw. Part of her is Carrie Bradshaw, even though she says she's part of her is Carrie Bradshaw, even though she's Miranda. But you are.
And just like we assumed, and just like that, they turn into a let's kiss our own asses fest. So I'm going to stop it here. We're 15 minutes in. We've learned nothing. Nothing they're saying makes sense with the show. I'm down to keep going. I never know if I'm taking it too far with the negativity, and I don't want to do that. So you just got to tell me. If you guys want to keep going, I'll keep going with this podcast. You just got to tell me. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a fantastic new year, and I will talk to you again soon. Stay healthy, stay safe, and take care. Bye-bye.